It's Wednesday Weigh-In with Charles D'Angelo. So you've reached your weight loss goal, and people are constantly asking you how you did it. I'm certain that happens to you all the time.
All the time.
And it is an opportunity for you to share your wisdom and to help other people transform. And of course, that is what you do for a living. But why is it important to do that?
I think that leading by example is really the most important thing a person can do. The greatest teachers I've ever had in my life are people that live a life that really mirrors what I would like my life to be like, and show me by example rather than just telling me this is the way it should be and doing something quite to the contrary. The one thing that I do have to preface all that with is that before you use your transformation or your own success to inspire other people, make sure that it's wanted. You won't believe, well, I'll tell you what happened. You won't believe what happened to me this past weekend. I go out every Friday with my buddy Steve. He and I were college buddies, and we go out to dinner about once a week. We'll typically go to somewhere like Outback Steakhouse. So we went and sat in a booth, and I excused myself to go to the restroom, and I went to the restroom. I'm making my way back to the booth, and someone hollers out my name. So I turn, and it's some man that I didn't know, and he says, "Charles," and I said, "Hi," and I shook his hand, and he said, "What are we going to do with her? She's killing herself." And he pointed across the table at some very morbidly overweight woman that he was sitting with in the middle of a restaurant.
Oh, how horrible.
Expecting I'm going to do an intervention in the middle of Outback Steakhouse. I mean, if you ever see me out at a restaurant, do not expect I'm going to intervene in your personal issues
you should
there.
have intervened in him.
And I did. This is what I said. I said, "Sir," I said, "I'm not at liberty to discuss those types of things in a public place. I'm sorry. It's nice seeing you all. I excuse myself." You don't want to point out someone's issues and make them feel awkward like that. You want to use positivity to inspire, not force. I'll tell you another thing. When I first started my own practice, I was very forceful. I was very young. I was very forceful. So people would change, but they were oftentimes changing for me rather than for themselves. So if you really want to create a dramatic transformation in a person's life, in someone you love, do it by example, get the right foods in the house, and change your lifestyle in such a way that you then positively influence them rather than trying to force them and pointing out things that they're not up to par with.
Yeah, you wonder, like with that man, how many times did he maybe say to the woman he was with, "Hey, let's go for a walk"?
And let me add this. Okay, this man was wearing a wife beater, had a large
Say no more.
and a blooming onion in front of him. Okay,
He's so toxic.
So your peer group has a huge influence, right? Okay, I like to use real stories when we come on the air here to demonstrate exactly what's going on, because the reality is this: if you want to really influence someone, you influence by example. The reason that I'm very effective, I believe, in influence people is because I lived it. I was stuck in a place I hated. I was 360 pounds, miserable. So when I have someone come to my office and they're sitting across the desk from me and they see in me how my life is now, not only did I lose weight, but I kept it off for a decade, and I've counseled now over 2,000 people, they see that not only did I change my life, but I'm continuing to lead my life in a way that is effective.
Truly understand what each step is, and when somebody feels tempted, or when someone has a setback, or you've been there and done that kind of thing. Although you never had any setbacks, but
no, that's not true, Christine. The reality
you
is
said you lost the weight, and you never got that.
I've never had any setbacks where I started to go back into bad habits, but I have had periods of time where my weight wasn't moving as quickly, or where I felt frustrated.
But anyway, you get it, and that's important, and that is what's inspirational.
And let's not forget, we're about a month away from what? Do you know what?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. A month away from you celebrating your 2 years of keeping the weight off, which shows that Christine's beat the statistic. The statistics show that 98% of people will gain it all back within 2 years, and Christine's living proof that if you really make a lifestyle change, you can keep it off.
It's almost time for lunch. Well, thank you. You can reach Charles by going to our website at kpl11.com, or you can find him on Facebook. Well, KPLR11 and Verizon's